be so honest with you. You are the most slept-on kid in this game for the wrong reasons. You are fat. You have zero mobility. And any beginner with 2 brain cells can pick you up and go crazy. You are literally the training wheels overhaul.
Sorry. Didn't know massage machines could talk, because last time I checked, you got nerfed into the dirt with your patches before you were even released. And now you don't do anything more but be a tickle monster. You're basically the Black Panther of this game.
Okay, first of all, don't compare me to that monkey. Second of all, I actually do large bursts of damage and can TOD anyone that is 350 HP, no shield. And unlike you, I have legs.
Okay, frick you too then. Doesn't like half your kit not work. Especially your gamma and how it misses like half the time. At least, my kit works consistently.
That's just the price to play such a complex character like me. Like the majority of the players in this game can't even play me right because they think I work like every other character. But I'm not like the rest of you.
Don't say it's a skill issue with the players just because your kit sucks.
Check the tier list and try again, littlest bro.
Okay. Listen here, you little bit. 350 damage combo.
Bro has been standing in the corner talking to himself for the past 5 minutes.
Should we call someone?
Yeah, that boy needs some milk.
I got routes for days, bro.
That joke
I am not a tickle
was
monster.
weak as hell.
I am a shit.
You're right, my apologies.
Combo took you 40 seconds.
Guess who's back in the conversation now?
Shut up.
Set up.
Let me keep it a bean with y'all. You guys don't understand Assault Overhaul. Like, at all. And I get it. You picked him up, spent maybe 2 hours in game, wondered why you were shitting the bed every single match, and just called him ass. Then you went back to whatever cookie cutter character everyone else is running. I've seen it 1,000 times. But here's the thing. That is not an overhaul problem. That is a you problem. Overhaul isn't built like the rest of the roster. He doesn't have some brain dead kit you can figure out in one session. His whole game is combos, chaining moves into each other, punishing HP with gamma combos, running 10 plus different sequences, depending on what the situation calls for. He rewards the people who actually put in the work, and most people just don't. Not to be a GS raider, but I truly believe the people who say he's ass are people who have either never touched Ace in their life, spend like 2 to 3 HRs on the character expecting him to play like every other character in this game with a simplistic kit. They don't have the proper build for them and wonder why they bomb every game. Or if the playstyle the character requires you to play doesn't match the playstyle you typically play, in that case you need to give him more time to actually understand him, or drop him if you don't have the technical skill and or the dedication to learn a more complex kit compared to other characters in the game. In this video, it will help you learn his combos and how you want to play this character. With that, my name is Shanky Shadow, and this is Assault Overhaul for Dummies. Let's get into it. The difference between Assault Overhaul and Support Overhaul is night and day. As one has pretty good movement, while the other is glued to the ground with zero mobility options. You want to essentially choose your battles, as his kit doesn't really support long fights, but rather a well-executed combo that does great damage and leaves your opponents with very little HP, and will allow you to finish them off with a flurry of unaimed alphas. Although he can fight at level 1, it isn't recommended because he is reduced to a tickle with his moves. So it's better to fight when you have good levels so you can do good damage to your opponents when you hit them with combos. You should always be fishing for combos with his kit, as each move doesn't do much by itself, but combining them can allow for easy shield breaks and or kill confirms on HP. Overhaul, you can't expect to constantly fight and do crazy damage, As your character isn't really made for long fights and needs downtime, occasionally to get his cooldowns back,
Don't worry about fucking with me.
his alpha is the bread of his kit and is the reason he has so many high damage combos. His alpha has two forms. If it is unaimed, you shoot a volley of rock spikes at your opponent that semi-tracks where your opponent is as long as you are actually looking at them, and not just spazzing your camera to have the tracking do all the work for you. You usually want to use this move to check your opponent to see if they have HP or GP. As if they have HP, you want to thirst, and not if they have GP. If aimed, it shoots out rocks from his hands that do decent damage while having a fast fire rate and almost non-existent down power. However, his projectile is very slow, so it's only good for close to mid-range. This move allows him to do crazy damage with his combos, as his alphas provide the majority of the damage of his higher damage combos.
Life on the line now in history.
His beta is one of the harder parts of his kit to use, as if used right, you can pull off some of the most stylish combos that may make you cream your pants. Now, his beta has changed a little bit due to his beta change in the previous patch notes, but I'll talk about it later. During his beta, he will fall if he's in the air in the direction where it was cast, and then after some startup will create a pillar from below his feet that will knock enemies away and deal minimal damage. If you jump after casting the beta, you can jump from the pillar and get a great boost of mobility. While the pillar is being created, you can shoot your unaimed alpha, which can combo with your beta. As I've mentioned before, the changes from the last patch have made it so that if you are close enough to your opponent, the pillar will hit twice, which will, although do more damage, it will send your opponents downward, which will make you unable to reliably combo into any of your moves. This means if you want to hit the edge of the beta so you can better hit those snazzy combos and deal the most amount of damage as you possibly can. How you can tell if you hit the edge of the move or the double hit depends on whether you do an abnormally high amount of damage, or if you do subpar damage as if you do roughly 90 damage, you hit the double hit. If you do roughly 50 to 60 Dalton's Mage, you hit the edge, and as long as they have HP, you can combo off of it. Overall, this move isn't that bad at all, and if used properly, can make you very annoying to kill. And also, stop using this move out of iframes because it's too slow to actually help out in Oki situations. This is the peanut butter and jelly of his kit. For his gamma, he dashes at the opponent with really good tracking and smacks the schmidt out of his opponent. And what variant you get depends on whether you are in the air or not. If you are in the air, it will smack them to the ground with, again, really good tracking, and smack them to the ground. Whether this is a regular 250 to 300 Dalton's Mage combo or taught on Assault Kirishima, depends on how high you were smacked from, as you will be put into infinite hit stun until you bounce from the ground and then you be engulfed in stones and then explode. If used on the ground, you will smack them upwards and then put them into a coffin and explode. Basically the boring version. In most cases, you want to use the aerial version to better catch opponents unless they are too close to the ground or you have the opportunity to combo them on the ground for a free shield break combo. And you always want to use the aim version of his alpha when hitting his gamma, as his alpha is the majority of the damage of his combos. I've already talked about what his special action does in the support overhaul video, but I'll actually give a proper description of how the move works. His special action is one of your only ways of keeping yourself alive when in tight spots, because once it's out and is on cooldown, you gotta play 10 times after. You can't afford to be caught out of position without it. His special action basically just heals all of your HP and additionally heals half GP, meaning if you already have GP, it will add from that initial GP. He also gets 2 charges of his special action because the second part allows you to use a disassemble to cancel hit stun and attack the opponent, dealing damage and ignoring all armor. Also, for the love of everything, if your teammate revives you through pink cards and they have no heals, or they signal that they have no heals, then heal them, because unless they are bottom feeding or they weren't doing much, never using it on teammates makes you look selfish. How you tune Support Overhaul and Assault Overhaul is somewhat different. Because remember when I talked about how you build Support Overhaul as more of a sustain tank or just sustain Support Overhaul for Dummies video. Well, forget about that because you want to focus more on better damage potential and cooldown reduction. Meaning you would likely want to have Quirk Factor release in your build to get your Gamma back after hitting an on-shield combo and allow you to stay in the fight for longer. Here are some you can see, for example, here is a Venn diagram on which tuning builds work for which overhaul skill set. Pause to read. I've gone through so much to learn this skill set and ignore all the slander from people who didn't understand his character and were able to make it work. So take in these tips, I beg. Number 1, learn the damn combos. Here are all the combos in On My Soul. In the Soul of Biking, you would be good if you learn them. Gamma into Alpha aimed. Works on GP and HP. Beta into Alpha. Best on HP. M1 into Gamma into Alpha aimed. Best on HP. Beta into Gamma into Beta into Alpha. Works on HP. Gamma Aerial into Beta into Alpha. Works on HP. Iffy on GP. Gamma Aerial into Alpha aimed. Works on GP and HP. Beta into Alpha aimed. Works on HP. M1 into M2 into Gamma. Yeah. Best on HP. Gamma Aerial into Beta. Yeah. Works on GP and HP. Yeah. Taya into Gamma into Beta. Works on HP. Beta into Gamma into Alpha aimed. Works on HP and GP. Gamma into Alpha. Works on GP and HP. God, with this many combos, Ion wanna hear you say some. He has no damage combos. Cause this is basically every combo he has that does good damage. It's just like saying there's nothing good in the fridge to make good food and you order food online even though, you know damn well there is good food for you to make, but your lazy ass is too lazy to make that food. Number 2. Another mistake I would assume you guys make with this character is fighting anyone you see with this character. And that is straight up not a smart play. The people you want to mainly get close quarters with are people that are flesh or have only HP, because only then can you confirm kills with you high damage combos. Plus some characters like shield characters can completely cuck you and make your combo game useless. So avoid those characters as missing your Gamma with really good. Tracking is the worst thing you can do because not only does it put you in a massive amount of hit stun, but also means you have to stay at range and poke to wait for it to come back. Bonus to this section, you know, your special action. Yeah, that thing that has a 60-second cooldown, essentially. Yeah, don't get too deep into fights without at least a charge of it. Number 3, stop being pussy against flyers. Your kit is essentially the opposite of support overhauls. Because, unlike his bum being too fat to leave the ground, Assault Overhaul can not only maintain airtime with his beta, but with his really good tracking on his Gamma, you can track flyers and smack them from the sky and potentially get a tot on them, depending on how high you smack them from the ground. Plus, your Alpha has really good tracking against flyers as long as you attempt to aim at them and not let auto-aim take the wheel. Number 4. Stop pressing buttons out of iframes. This is essentially a universal tip among all players, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my Ace Rank for Dummies videos, but for Assault Overhaul in particular, he does not have any good wake-up options, so stop spamming your beta out of iframes because it is too slow, and you will get diddled by anyone good at taking advantage of you pressing buttons. Number 5. Don't listen to the community. This isn't really a tip, just need to get something off my chest. A lot of people in this community have written off Assault Overhaul as a bad character. And I get it, because when you first pick him up, he doesn't click the same way other characters do. But here is the thing, that is not a character problem. That is a learning curve problem. Overhaul doesn't work like every other character in this game. And instead of actually putting in the time to figure him out, most people just slap a bad label on him and call it a day. And that is honestly the bigger issue I have with this community. There is a habit of making characters seem way worse or way better than they actually are without giving them a real chance first. And what does that do? It scares off newer players and more impressionable players from even trying these characters, because the loudest voices online have already made up their minds. That is not good for the game and its longevity, and it pushes people away from playing. In general, if we want people to actually play, we need to be constructive. I'm not saying we need to glaze the game to no end either. Hold the developers accountable, but don't get hard negative about it. Otherwise, we step into unreasonable territory, and we start dooming the game to the point we make it unappealing to newer players. If you actually want to learn Overhaul, don't let the community's takes be your guide and skip all the doom posts about him being a shit character. Instead, seek out people who are actually enjoying the character, or people who can give honest, thoughtful feedback, people who support the game instead of just tearing it apart. Shout out to King Kaz for being exactly that kind of creator, as he is someone who actually puts thought into his takes, and I can respect that. Anyways, that is all I had to say. Now, back to the actual video. So, to wrap everything up, Assault Overhaul is not a bad character. He is just not a character you can pick up and immediately cook with. His moves on their own aren't going to blow anyone away, but the moment you start chaining them together into actual combos, that is when you see what he is really capable of. 250 to 300 damage on HP only targets is not a joke. The biggest takeaways from this: play smart, not recklessly. Pick your fights, prioritize HP targets, don't sleep on your special action cooldown, and please stop spending beta out of iframes. It will get you killed. He has got the mobility, he has got the damage, and he has got the tools to handle flyers too. The only thing standing between you and actually being good with him is the time you are willing to put in. That is it. If you actually sit down and learn this character, you'll see exactly what I am talking about. Don't let the community's takes make that decision for you. For weaknesses, he can't really stay in long fights, as his kit isn't necessarily made for that, while also being the fact that his movement isn't all that great. The worst thing about this character is that he is hella consistent compared to other characters due to his alpha not working sometimes, and especially his gamma missing sometimes, leaving you very vulnerable in some spots. For dummies, I would say, who am I kidding? Of course, he will be very hard for dummies because of the amount of combos you need to learn in different situations, and the fact that he demands a different mindset for playing him to truly last in lobbies and rack up kills in the process. Anyway, that is going to do it for this one. Do you think he is genuinely ass, or do you think he's actually good and the community doesn't know what they are talking about? Let me know, and if this helped, drop a like, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Now, I would typically do my shameless plug here in these guide videos about me streaming every weekend, but my headset kind of broke on me, and I am trying to get a proper streaming lab up so I can stream on both Twitch and YouTube and have audio that isn't a 2000 hertz ring in your ear for like half the stream. And so that I can better manage playing the game while streaming the game in a way that doesn't mess with how my game runs. But yeah, I'll let y'all know if I'll be able to stream. And again, my bad for this very late upload, but Filmora has been a hoe to me this week, so editing the video was much more of a chore than it needed to be. Anyways, thanks again for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to see more of what I post. And I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night whenever you are watching.